All right, let's get rolling on our changes to Vermilion River watershed. Vermilion River is, of course, where we were in Farmington, but we're thinking a little bigger picture, right? Here we have a visual of the entire watershed. So remember, that means any drop of water that lands in this spot will make its way into the Vermilion River, to the Mississippi, and then down to the Gulf. So you've got kind of three sections that you're looking at here. The first section is those watershed maps. So 1 through 4, you're going to see a variety of years of the maps. Diagram 5 is, okay, now we know what's going on. Well, what can we do about it? How can we help preserve the watershed and the water in Vermilion River? And then last, data from 6 and 7, we're looking at some graphs, some data tables, and just doing a little practice with those health impacts, kind of writing it out and thinking through, well, what kind of changes are happening. So let's just get started together, and then you can find a few other helpful links along the way if you're feeling stuck. So map 1, this is from 1984, so you can start out your year, 1984. And these first couple, we're just looking at the colored key or the legend. So we're trying to figure out what are the top 3 land uses. So we're looking for the color that is most prominent. Now, obviously, there's quite a bit of brown. That is our agriculture or undeveloped. So 2 very different environments, but that's how they've linked them together here. Remember, agriculture is a fancy word for farming. And undeveloped means there's nothing on it specifically, so just natural ground. So that is our 1 most color. 2nd and 3rd, you might have a little discrepancy about which is more or less, but kind of look through those and figure out, okay, which color is the 2nd most abundant on the visual. Obviously, this blue right here is the river. Okay, this blue open water is a little different. So now that you've got your map 1 done, we can go ahead and roll into map 2. This is a current map looking at the 2024 land use data. So you can go ahead and update that. Again, we're looking for changes. So we still have our first as agriculture and undeveloped, but now we're looking at what has increased. So we're trying to see what it's like for current and how that maybe has changed from map 1 to map 2. So as you go through these, you are going to kind of circle back and forth, maybe even go halvesies on your screen to look at both at the same time. And then before you keep going, there's a little predict, right? Map 3, fast forward ahead to 2040. Again, similar style questions. What are we looking at as the most, and why do we think those are projected to be the most? And then here we're starting to get to those impacts, right? If we change those surfaces, what would be an impact to one of our river factors? So you get some choice here, right? What would be impacted? Stream flow, transparency, oxygen, or nitrates? And give me that because, right? How is that going to be happening? And same thing if we have a change in more natural surfaces. What would the impact be? Increase or decrease in which of those factors? And then how do you know? What's your because? Map 4 then is not looking at the land use, but looking at impervious surfaces. So quick revisit to what impervious means, right? That is thinking about material or a surface that does not let water through. And this is maybe the trickiest part. We're going to compare this map to map 2 and try to figure out what ground cover gives really high impervious surface. So this would be a great one to go halvesies with. So you can see 2 and 4 at the same time and say, okay, there is really high impervious surfaces where this dark color is. So what is that dark color over here, and kind of match them up and look for those similarities. And same thing in the lowest impervious surfaces, right? What's going on here? So you will have to look at both at the same time for a comparison. So that's where I'm going to end this intro video. You can start working on maps 1 through 4. You're just hanging out at your desk, working through, reading carefully, using the maps and their keys. And as always, if you have a question for me, send me that Schoology message and I will get back to you. Look ahead in your document for any extra help on maps 5, 6, and 7.